I request His Excellency Dr. Sharma to please deliver his guest of honor address. I will introduce him before he delivers the address. Mr. Sharma is a senior economist and diplomat who is currently serving as the ambassador of Nepal to India. He was the ambassador of Nepal to United States from 2009 to 14. Dr. Sharma served as the vice chairman of National Planning Commission from 2002 to 2006. He is a PhD in economics from University of Hawaii. Before this honor, Dr. Sharma also worked as a consultant to the Constitution Committee on distribution of natural resources, economic rights, and public revenue in helping to draft the new constitution of Nepal. He has also served in various other capacities for the government of Nepal, such as member of NPC, chief advisor in Ministry of Finance and alternate governor of Nepal for International Monetary Fund, and senior economist in the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies. Apart from all this, Dr. Sharma has extensive experience in government, international institutions, and economic research. Such a learned person, so will definitely benefit with your thoughts, His Excellency Dr. Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. DG, Mr. Ganju, for your very kind introduction. Chief guest, respected Sri Nagula Palliji, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Power, Sri Ganesh Karkiji, President IPAN, Sri Babu Raj Adhikari ji, Joint Secretary, Investment Board of Nepal, distinguished speakers and participants. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to participate and speak a few words in this Power Summit 2024, organized by the Indian Federation of Green Energy, focusing on India-Nepal cooperation and the energy sector. I thank you, IFGE, for inviting me to speak a few words on the occasion. I also would like to thank all participants from Nepal and India for taking such great interest in the India-Nepal power cooperation and attending this conference. So most of the things have been already said by our previous speakers. Nepal has about 6,000 rivers. And the rate of flow, I think it's not only rivers, but the rate of flow is very high in Nepal because of the mountains region. So the head is high, the potential is high. Everybody has mentioned about 42,000 megawatt potential commercial capacity of Nepal. I think it could be even more. I think depending on the new technologies available elsewhere, like pump storage and things like that. So I think Nepal has enormous potential in the area of hydropower. Now, talking about India, I guess, although India's demand is probably more than 250,000 megawatt, but I think it will increase. I think as we have seen from the presentation, that the per capita consumption of electricity in this region is low. I think Nepal is much lower compared to many of the countries. But I think India is also low. I think India is growing at a rate of 7 to 8% per annum, meaning that the market size is growing very fast. And then with the commitment of the Indian government, I think gradually the promotion of renewable energy, hydroelectricity will also be, I think, promoted both in the region and in the country in India. Nepal, India, I think we have a long tradition of agreements in terms of energy. As for example, the Power Exchange Agreement that was signed in 1971, Agreement on Electric Power Trade, Cross-Border Transmission, Interconnection and Grid Connectivity, 2014, Procedures for Approval and Facilitating Import-Export, Cross-Border of Electricity in 2021, and so on and so forth. But very recently, I think this is a good news. I think we all know about that. Nepal and India signed an agreement to export up to 10,000 megawatt in 10 years' time from Nepal to India. So I think that's one of the major incentives that has been provided by this agreement to both investors in India as well as the investors in Nepal and beyond. Talking about, I think, our incentives in Nepal, Joint Secretary Babu Ramji has already mentioned about that. He didn't elaborate and then emphasize on that one, but I think if we see the incentives provided in Nepal, the VAT exemption, I think, which is about 13%, That's a great incentive to the investors. The second thing about income tax exemption for 10 years and 50% tax reduction in the next 5 years. I think that's also a great incentive to the investors in the country. Now, talking about, I think, Indian side, I think there are several incentive systems that have been in place, especially over the last 2 years. If we talk about electricity selling from Nepal to India, we already started selling electricity both in the day-ahead market as well as in the real-time market. So I think that's a great incentive to the investors in Nepal as well as to the Indian investors who would like to invest in the country. Now, earlier, I think this SPO obligation was only provided to the domestic investors in India. Now that has also been extended to the imported hydroelectricity from Nepal to India. So I think that's also one of the additional incentives that we have seen over the last few years. I think our the President IPAN, he mentioned about the requirement of about $40 billion over the next 10 years, I guess. So I think that means that it's not only the investment opportunities available, but also the multiplier effect that we can get in India and Nepal will be enormous. I think that will help Nepal in the employment generation. Not only that, I think when we are talking at the scale of $40 billion and its multiplier effect in India, I guess that will also be very huge to other agencies. I think he mentioned about insurance, reinsurance, construction companies, hydromechanical equipment producers and things like that. So I think this will also generate the multiplier effect in the total economy. Now, I think Nepal is not only focusing on India. I think we have, agreement with India and Bangladesh to send Nepal's hydroelectricity to Bangladesh. So I think that will be the beginning. But I will say that, I think talking to different countries and different ambassadors in Delhi, there will be enormous opportunity to export to BIMSTEC countries, BBIN countries as well. When we are talking about BIMSTEC countries, I think Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka and India, they have signed an agreement to have the underwater cable for the transmission line. So I think we will also benefit out of that because Sri Lanka also needs renewable energy. Myanmar needs it. Thailand needs it. So I think there is enormous opportunity for the trading in the area of electricity. I don't think I would like to go into details about that. If we talk about the benefits even to Nepal, not only the economic benefits in terms of multiplier effect and getting the green energy, I guess, that will also help in reducing the pollution, basically CO2 emission in India. For Nepal, no doubt, I think it will have significant impact in reducing the trade deficit between Nepal and India. It will significantly improve in the area of employment generation, raise the per capita, the consumption of energy, electricity in Nepal, and then I think we will be able to generate revenue, significant amount of revenue, which can lead to higher per capita income and growth in the country. So I think these are all win-win situation, lots of, opportunities. Simplified regulation, I think that has been already mentioned, of energy trade, seamless energy trading arrangements between the two countries and beyond. Over the time, timely planning and execution of the construction and completion of transmission lines and promotion of hassle-free regional electricity trade will attract more investors in this area and further promote renewable energy in the region. I think it will be rewarding to all the countries. I think, as I said earlier, win-win situation to all the countries. So if there are any other issues, I guess that can be discussed with the government authorities, representative of government people, while I think participating in the forthcoming investment summit in Nepal, 28-29 of April 2024. And just before that, I think IPAN is focusing more on the summit on hydropower on 26, 27. I think that will be a great opportunity to discuss with the government authorities, private sector of Nepal in promoting renewable energy, hydroelectricity in the region. In addition to that, I just would like to inform you that on 10th of this month, the head of Investment Board of Nepal, Mr. Bhatta, Dr. Bhatta, is also supposed to come here to participate in one of the meetings. So I think that will also be an opportunity to talk with him about the incentive systems and process, if required, I think, in the promotion and development of hydropower in Nepal. Thank you so much.